This week on the podcast, I speak to Nicola from Creative Buzz. Don't forget, they have a market on the Leighton Buzzard Market this Saturday, the 11th of May. So listen to this episode and then make sure you come and check it out.
You guys painted the gates at the Black Lion.
Yes, designed by local artist Rachel Presky. She's a great illustrator and she will be one of the people at the market. I think we have about 18 people at the market.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a mix of illustration, there's going to be origami experts, there's going to be people that do textiles. So it's a real mix. It's making people aware of the creativity in town and what is available. So there is small businesses that not necessarily selling their wares, but want you to sort of see what they do and what they have to offer. They'll have things on display to sort of showcase examples of what they do. So it's not a typical kind of craft fair as such. It's quite a funky mix of cool people that we've kind of curated together.
Okay, so hello and welcome to another episode of the Leighton Buzzard Local Podcast. I'm here with Nicola from Creative Buzz, and as you can probably tell from the background noise, depending on how I've managed to dim it in the edit, we're in Canal Street Coffee. So Nicola, hi.
Hi.
So it's nice to see you too. And we've been chatting for about an hour now about other things, and I'm like, we need to press record. So tell me about Creative Buzz and what you do.
So Creative Buzz I set up in 2021 in September. It was just coming out of lockdown. I just quit my job in the high-end design agency and started a new one, and realised there was a lot of creative people in town, and I was lacking sort of that creative kind of connection with people, and I just wanted to kind of get to know more people locally. I used to work in London, used to commute every day, so most of my friends weren't in Leighton Buzzard, sadly. So just kind of wanting to know more people locally and like-minded people really as well. So I find it very difficult as a creative to kind of meet people that I like and get on with. It's very hard to describe, but just trying to kind of, I get on better with other creatives basically, and just have that kind of connection and that good chat. So it's a little bit madness, but I put a shout out there on Facebook and Instagram, and if anyone wanted to meet me in the pub, and I sat there on my own with a gin. I was like,
so you're obviously in the Black Lion then. If you're sitting there with a gin, we're talking about the Black Lion. Okay, so it's the first one. You're there with your gin.
Sat there on my own with a gin, hoping that someone would turn up. Otherwise, it looked like I was on a bad date. And then, people just started turning up.
Oh, wow.
And I think we had a table, so I was like, we could probably fit about 8 people maybe, see how it goes. And I think there was more than 20 people turned up. We had to go outside. It was a bit mad.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and it's been great ever since, really.
And how many people have you got in the group now?
It's just over 400 officially, I think, on Facebook.
That's amazing.
Yeah. A little bit mad. I don't know everyone, and I haven't met everyone, thankfully. But I hate to think if 400 people did turn up at the pub. I think Nicola would be very surprised.
I don't know. We could give it a go. If it's like a summer month, maybe could we get them all in the pub garden? No, we couldn't get them all in the pub garden.
I mean, we could try. It'd be nice. It'd be a cool mission, wouldn't it? A little challenge, getting 400 people to turn up.
And what kinds of people do you think come along to Creative Buzz?
So a lot of them, there is a mix of people. There is female and males obviously turn up as well, but it's highly female orientated at the moment. Don't let that put you off. There's a real mix. So I'm a graphic designer by trade, and there is quite a lot of graphic designers in there as well. But there's also artists, origami experts, illustrators, website designers, woodworkers, potters.
And what do you think the mix is like? Because I know that you're open to like anyone, if you have a creative hobby or anybody can come along to the meetups. Do you think it is predominantly people running a creative business, or do you think there's...
I reckon it's almost like half and half.
Oh, cool.
I'm not 100% sure because I haven't gone through everyone, but I think there is a lot of small businesses, people that work on their own. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, because I knew that if I was working on my own at home, then I'm not on my own. There's lots of others in the same situation that need to get out of the house and meet other people. So there is a lot of small businesses that we're trying to kind of help them flourish as well in a way. But there is a lot of crafters as well and hobbyists. I mean, I am terrible, but I am very much a hobbyist as well. So I'm a very crafty person and very creative in that sense. I like to do it as a job and a hobby. But yeah, there's so many people.
Yeah.
And I can't keep on top of it, but it's great.
It is great. And I mean, we're recording this now, it's like the end of April.
Yep.
And you're actually really busy at the moment because you're getting ready. You're going to do a market, aren't you? Leighton Buzzard Market.
Yes, I am. And I'm hoping this is going to go out beforehand.
I will have a look at the schedule. No, but you say that. But as I was plugging
It's
all the
not that
equipment
long, it's
in,
only
I
a
was
couple of
thinking we
weeks
probably
away, I
need to
think.
do that, actually.
Yeah.
I probably do need to sort it out before the market.
Yes.
But yeah, so say when the market is.
It is Saturday, the 11th of May.
Yeah.
8:30 until 3, I believe. It's on the bottom or south side of the High Street as well, so it's down near Haberdashery and Black Lion.
Oh, wonderful.
Seems as they're
Yeah.
massive supporters of us, which is great. I've managed to convince them to have it down that end instead of being up the top end where the normal craft markets are.
Yeah. And also good because was it last weekend you guys painted the gates at the Black Lion?
Yes, we managed to convince Nikki at the Black Lion to paint her front gates to advertise Creative Buzz as well. It's designed by local artist Rachel Presky as well. She's a great illustrator and she will be one of the people at the market. I think we have about 18 people at the market.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a mix of illustration, there's going to be origami experts, there's going to be people that do textiles, there's pottery as well, so it's a real mix. So it's not necessarily everyone's selling things either, it's making people aware of the creativity in town and what is available. So there is small businesses that are not necessarily selling their wares but want you to sort of see what they do and what they have to offer, and you can potentially order from them and use them in the future, but they'll have things on display to sort of showcase examples of what they do as well. So it's going to be a really interesting one. So it's not a typical kind of craft fair as such. It's quite a funky mix of cool people that we've kind of curated together, and we'll see how this goes. But there's talks about one in September as well, maybe.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then we'll probably mix it up again for that as well. Yeah. So it won't be the same people. It might be a couple of the same people, but if it's successful, it might be bigger and better, hopefully.
Oh, that would be amazing. So what is it, do you think, about Leighton Buzzard that makes Creative Buzz work? Or, I mean, and you're also welcome to say it's nothing to do with Leighton Buzzard, but whenever I speak to people, they sort of feel like there's something a bit special about Leighton Buzzard, and I kind of feel like maybe that taps into it a bit with Creative Buzz.
I don't know what it is, and I don't know why, but it seems like a very creative town.
Yeah.
I kind of joke saying that it's kind of like the inland Brighton. We have got a beach.
That's a really good description.
And I want it to be more colourful and have it kind of more creative in town and actually show off our creativity in town. But I think a lot of people it's got great connections to London, so I'm going to say that is probably one of the main reasons that a lot of creative people do work in London and come out, and it's good connections. But also, I don't know why it's so creative. But I mean, I went to a local art college around here as well. So I went to Milton Keynes College and studied graphic design and art there. So I think there is kind of like that local kind of buzz of creativity, which somehow I've tapped into. Yeah. And I think there is possibly places like that around, but just not showing off.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And I do think one of the things that Leighton Buzzard is good at is bringing things together in that kind of way. Like we have a community of people that want to do that. Like
the High Street is massively supportive.
Absolutely.
Of it as well.
And I think also for community groups. So for example, when we first moved to Leighton Buzzard, I used to say to my partner, I was like, I mean, I swear there's every type of sport here. We've got like a rugby club, a football club, we've got 2 tennis clubs. Like there's just so much. I know. And so I think there is that kind of community. You see it everywhere. So it seems natural for there to be a community for creatives as well. Yeah.
I think the High Street does help as well, and I think it being a market town and that kind of like it feels like it's that community kind of town anyway. And I don't know, I just feel like people do congregate round the town. Yeah. And it has just so much kind of going for it, and it's got so much potential. Yeah. To do more creative things.
No, absolutely.
I've got things in my head that I want to do.
Oh, can you share any of them?
Well, I'm hoping, we've been speaking to the council and potentially there's like electrical boxes around town
Oh,
that we're
right,
hoping
yeah.
to potentially do like mini murals on
Oh, wow.
and stuff. So, I mean, I don't want to get them in trouble, but potentially next year, there's talks about it.
That
about
would be
getting,
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
and just bringing
fantastic.
colour to the town.
Yeah,
I just want to paint
definitely.
things.
I think that's
make
a
it
great
more fun.
idea. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And
But
inspire young creatives as well. I think that's like, I
Mm.
think we did find that at the weekends, painting the mural.
yeah,
The amount of young children walking past going, that's really cool, I want to do that.
yeah.
I was like, well, why can't you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something about it as well, is that what you've created is like a central place for creativity in Leighton
Yeah.
Buzzard. Like everyone seems to know about it and wants to come along. And I know like last month when I came to the monthly meetup, there were people that I'd said, oh, you need to come to this. And then they were
Oh.
saying hi to me. And then I was trying to introduce them to you. And you were like, there's like 10 new people and I need to, and I was like, oh, Nicola will introduce you to this other person. But then by the time I'd introduce them
It's
to you,
mad.
like there is a, I know it's called Creative Buzz, but there's definitely a buzz around it as well.
Yeah.
And there's lots of things, coming together creatively in town. I know a couple of, it's potentially another podcast episode, but a couple of the creatives that you've mentioned, Rachel, for example, they've now got some studio space in town.
Yeah, they've got Southside Studios. So that set up, it's going to sound like I'm really big-headed, but that came from Creative Buzz and people meeting at Creative Buzz and wanting to have some studio space.
That's amazing.
And I think local artists, there was a couple of local artists that have moved back to Leighton Buzzard. I know Ben Ashton has come from, he grew up around here, and he's come back to Leighton Buzzard to kind of set up his kind of art studio.
Yeah.
And they've
And
kind
now
of,
he's shipped all his paintings have gone to
Rome.
Rome. That's amazing. Like I shared
Yeah.
that on the account and I was like, look, these paintings, from Leighton Buzzard to
Yeah.
Rome, like that's
Yeah.
what we're doing here.
So they've got a real big kind of action that they're trying to find studio space in town.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, some of it's going to be kind of community or communal workshop space.
Yeah.
So at the moment they've got somewhere that there's about 5 of them in there. As
Yeah,
a
because
studio
there's
space.
so who else is in there? Because there's Hannah who does the
There's Hannah
ceramics.
Hayes. There's Sylvia Stein, so Esther.
Yes.
There's Veronique's in architecture. She's doing that as well. And I'm trying to remember. I think that might be it.
Yeah.
To be fair, at the
But it's-
moment they're starting small and seeing how it goes.
Yeah.
But there's definitely demand.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. And they're using what was a disused space. Like
Yeah.
there was no one in there before.
No.
They've come to an agreement with the landlord to be able
Yeah.
to use that.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's brilliant. I think that's kind of one of, I'm sure, I'm not telling you why you set this up, but I'm sure that's one of the reasons that you wanted to set something like this up, because those conversations are
Yeah.
now happening.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it kind of makes me so proud. It's like my little babies. They're not really. They're not my babies. But yeah, it makes me so happy that, I mean, my intentions with Creative Buzz was to create a community and create something special in town. And
Yeah.
I think it's definitely kind of going that way. And people are noticing it a bit more. People
Yeah.
are picking it up. There's a lot more kind of interest.
Yeah.
And a lot more kind of things
Yeah.
going on. It's great.
I think what you mentioned as well in terms of timing, like when you set it up, because, you were saying yourself before the pandemic,
Yeah.
you went into London full time. And I mean, certainly my experience of not being a full time commuter, but having been sort of known people that did commute full time, I don't know anybody that now commutes full time.
No.
They only go in 2 or 3 days a week. And that's such a benefit for Leighton Buzzard, for the town, because then that's more people in town,
Yeah.
more people looking around thinking,
Exactly.
this could be cool, we could do this.
Yeah, bring people in.
Yeah.
If they've got studios in town, then it's going to bring business to the rest of town.
Yeah.
They're going to go out at lunch. They're going to
Yeah.
kind of meet up. They're going to use town. I think it's kind of a chain reaction that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Really. And there's a lot of empty space that
Yeah.
needs to be used. And why not be it creative space and
Yeah.
create something in town that's just a bit more energetic and vibrant and
Absolutely.
fun.
Yeah, definitely. So I know, well, it is just you and me, but you did put a call out to see if anybody else wanted to be with us on the podcast, but that didn't happen. But you were asking people about like what their sort of experiences
Yeah.
of Creative Buzz and what it means to them. So what do people mention? Let's shout them all out.
So somebody said it's helped her feel braver with what she can offer the creative community, and that's someone it's Art of Rest. She is a yoga teacher, but also an illustrator as well. So she does beautiful illustrations, but also kind of mindfulness as well. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so she's only been coming a few times, I think, but I feel like it's just sort of helped her benefit a lot more already. So it's great. And then we've got another one from Rachel. I've made the most wonderful group of like-minded friends who can help with ideas, advice, etc. So I think it is great, and it's one of those things that I've made the most amazing group of friends.
Yeah.
I can go through town now and like at least one person comes running at me. And
Yeah, absolutely. Like when my family come and visit, I know when my family come and visit me, if we walk through town, like I remember my brother came with his family and we'd finally got to the playground or I can't remember wherever we were going, and he just turned around to me and was like, "Is there anyone in this town that you don't know?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't walk around where I live and people say hi to me all the time." And I'm like, "Welcome to Leighton Buzzard."
But I definitely feel that is, I mean, it's gone days where I used to walk every day to work. And nobody would even say thank you for me going off the street and just walking in the middle of the road to let them walk past. To everyone sort of saying hi to me now. It's quite nice.
No, absolutely. But I think that is I think those are the sorts of things that make the difference and also like then drive you wanting to put more into things like Creative Buzz.
So treat people how you want to be treated and be nice to people.
Absolutely.
And nice things will come back to you.
So, I mean, apart from everybody else, as you were saying, that there's potential for the market, the Creative Buzz market to be happening again in September.
Yeah.
But apart from plans that other people have for Creative Buzz, what kind of plans? Do you have any plans, or like, do you have a sort of vision for the future? Or
that's a tough one. I'm still kind of figuring it out. I've recently gone freelance, so I'm trying to kind of get my work-life balance together.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll get my head around it and decide what I want to do. But obviously I want to continue doing our monthly meetups. I mean, we meet up on the third Tuesday of every month at the Black Lion in town. And Nikki is great. She's really supportive and she just kind of lets us take over, which is fab. But we used to host, every now and again, we used to host workshops as well.
Yeah.
We've hosted a workshop in Canal Street before
I think I came to one actually.
Yeah.
It was Tommy, wasn't it? Did a workshop.
We did one with Tommy
and that was in
done,
here.
Yeah, and I've done Christmas crackers as well, origami Christmas crackers.
Oh, awesome.
With Origami
Esther? Yeah, fantastic.
So we have done a couple of workshops here as well, and I think I would like to get back on it as well. And the benefit of that is we do use local people in the group as well to host workshops. And I've been speaking to a couple of people who are interested in potentially hosting workshops at Haberdashery or elsewhere. But I've said that feel free to like use our group as a testing ground.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to have like up to 20 people, and we can use venues like Canal Street.
Yeah.
And sort of have a bit of a play, and so it's kind of like eases them into it instead of going straight into strangers that are just booking onto their workshops and giving them a bit more confidence, and we can advise them what we think needs doing, if there's any like changes, or whether they're doing a fantastic job as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like that message said, you know, that I think there is a braveness in community, like you're meeting other people, and you've said it yourself, like meeting other like-minded creatives has made you think, oh, you know, this is great, let's do all of these things, and people in the group feel that way as well. So no, I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
It's definitely helped in my confidence.
Yeah.
And kind of just, I don't know, I just love everyone. There's so many amazing people.
Well, absolutely, but it's so nice to feel that way about the place that you live, and also feel that it connects with, you know, what you do and what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like that's incredibly important.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm always excited to like, every month I'm excited to see everyone. So
yeah.
It's great. It's nice.
No,
and it's
really
nice
good.
when you turn up as well.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed it. And I think for me, on the subject of braveness as well, we were talking before we switched the recording on about between us being the two most useless people for being like, oh, hi, I am actually. And actually, last week when I came to your meetup, I sat between Kate from Pearl and Pickle and is it Betsy from Creative Bee?
Yeah.
And they were like, and I was like, what do you do? And then they were like, what do you do? And I went, well, actually, I'm Laura, and I do the Leighton Buzzard Local Instagram account. And they both went, oh, and both of them then just went, I knew I recognised your voice. And I was like, oh, right, it's like that. But again, it is that kind of like just sort of owning it a bit more, like that kind of bravery around, this is what I do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've had like many people saying that they're too nervous to turn up and too scared to come on their own. And I was like, honestly, we're the most welcoming group of people. I try and say hello to everyone as I go around. I mean, we kind of vary from groups from about 15 people to, I think, March meetup, there was 40 something.
March was crazy, wasn't it? And it was like, I remember seeing Fiona and some other people from Southside as well. Like, it was a really big one. That was great.
Yeah, it was really big.
Yeah.
And I hope I got to see everyone, but I was running around like a crazy person trying to make sure that I said hello to everyone, which is massively out of my comfort zone because I'm not the most sort of outgoing person, but this has definitely helped. And I just want to meet people and kind of get to know what they do and kind of just fascinated by everyone else's like creativity.
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes and I think we've already covered this, but I think that's what makes it like special and a real addition to Leighton Buzzard as well. So it's all good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we will see you. Well, now that I have definitely rearranged the podcast schedule, we will all see you at the market on May the 11th.
Please come and say hi, even if it's just to sort of have a nosy. Please come support us.
Absolutely.
Thank you again for listening to this week's podcast. You can find other episodes of the podcast wherever you found this one, so make sure you check out the other people that I've spoken to locally.